Welcome to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. In this segment, Pat and James explore how each gifted underachiever's creative adjacent work patterns, long hours, multiple clients, no days off, have brought them into systems that are unsustainable. They then reflect on guidance by life and leadership coach Sarah Calabro, who says, "We create systems to conserve something. So what is your system conserving?" And then, without judgment, ask if your system is working or not working. Clearly, our systems are not working because the least little thing can send things off the rails. This is dysfunction, and time to interrogate the structure of our lives. Hey, Pat.
Yes, James.
Well, I am down here in the kimchi jug garden of the Gifted Underachievers estate complex.
Something's
And I was
complex.
thinking through my list of things that I would hire a remote assistant to do for me to create more space and capacity for more work, personal and otherwise. And this is part of our, are we calling it the remote assistant experiment?
Woo!
Or are we calling it more the capacity building? Well, we can't just, if we call it capacity building experiment, that's too general. I think maybe we need specificity.
You know what? Maybe we should, okay, I have two ideas. You mentioned we were kicking around the term unsustainable life. We could call it the unsustainable life experiment.
Ah, there we go. There we go. Yeah, well, there's got to be this outsourcing element. So
yeah, true. Or yeah, we could call it the getting help element, or the
how about unsustainable life subcategory, remote assistant experiment subcategory, reporting on the beginnings of a list.
we might need to workshop that, but yeah.
I am big on categorical hierarchies.
That's new. I haven't noticed that about you before.
Huge. It's how I dress. It's my every morning I think about, these subcategories.
Really? Okay, so I just want to dive into that for a second because I'm so curious right now. So are the categories like top of body, then bottom of body, or are they working like layer?
Skin out.
Skin out.
Skin out.
Yeah.
So, boxers, t-shirt, fleece pants, for example, which brings up the very touchy and often controversial morning self-discussion of where do I categorize socks?
Are they soft?
Oh, they're very soft. Very soft.
Socks are like self-care in that way then.
They are yes, they are a kind of self-care, but within my categorizing of hierarchies.
Yeah, right.
I do not know where to put them.
Oh shit, man. My mind is just reeling right now. I can't tell if it's the cough syrup or what we're talking about.
Could be both. Could be both. Let's dive into the meat of it. So
yes.
The other week we started this experiment.
Yeah.
And the idea, generally speaking, and tell me if I'm missing nuances here, was to look at our daily, weekly, monthly lives, the things that we do, and look for things. What can I outsource?
Yeah.
Right. What can I find somebody else to do, let go of and find somebody else to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I started my list.
Okay.
And I've got, number one, fetching coffee and making breakfast, paying bills, preparing dinner, doing the cat litter, trash and recycling, shopping for food, house cleaning, category general, house cleaning, category vacuuming, house cleaning, category wiping off surface tops. Right? Then we've got yard work, And then I'm a shoveler of snow when it
Oh,
snows. I'm out there with the shovel. There's no plow
yeah,
involved.
yeah.
So anyway, to get to the meat of it, what I've discovered with my exhaust, and there's much more that I've listed, but what I've discovered with my exhaustive list is that if I'm going to get anywhere with this experiment, I need to hire a cook, valet, and maid so that I am no longer preparing meals, cleaning, or really doing anything else. And even
Okay.
if I were to hire those people, the savings in terms of time would be quite limited because, as we all know, managing a staff of three
Yeah. I mean,
living
as
in
we
the
all
house,
know,
I
right?
mean, we're talking, if I go old English style, or better yet, if I go old Scottish style,
Yeah.
the amount of beatings I'm going to have to administer on a daily basis, it's going to eat up a lot of that time.
Well, and then all you can say is beatings will continue until morale improves.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
don't have, I
yeah.
mean, you're sort of
Or
in this,
until I find more time to do the shit I need to do.
yeah. Okay, so can I make some observations right now?
Absolutely. I've been waiting for that.
All right, my observation number one, this is not meant disrespectfully towards um
Uh-oh.
anybody. You live al you live alone. No, you don't live alone. It
Mm,
sounds like you do every domestic chore. So that's something for consideration because really we were talking about, unsustainable life in its
right.
entirety, of which work is a large part because we
Mhm.
are sole operators of kind of complicated businesses, really. So the fact that the things that you arrived at being able to do were in the domestic sphere, or things you arrived at somebody else
But
being
yeah.
able to do were in the domestic sphere, made me think, what the fuck is everybody else in your house doing all the time? And point two, it speaks to a bit of a what am I going to say, bubble wrap situation of your work in that it's something you have to basically almost protect from
Mm.
other people's interference in some ways. Is that anywhere near?
Yeah, I mean, I would say the assumption is living within a household of fair distribution. So it would
Oh,
be me outsourcing my portion,
okay,
which
I see.
you
Okay.
could say in one
My
way,
misunderstanding.
outside. But you know, yes. So there could be the going to the spouse and saying, we need more traditional wife doing
Yeah, that'll go over like
here.
a house of
Which
something.
might have the reverse impact.
You'll be digging yourself out of a snowbank.
Yeah, I'll be digging myself out of the snow.
Okay, let's back away from that and look at the bigger question then, which is there nothing in your business? Could you find nothing in your business?
I did actually. And in all seriousness, so one of the things that is hiring somebody to do advertising.
Okay.
Right. So I've been running some ads in Pinterest, playing with some different things around a collection of short stories that I'm self-publishing. Uh, but also advertising for gifted underachievers, right,
Yeah.
would be another piece of that.
Yeah.
Um, and then I'm looking here. I know I had something. Uh, yeah. That somebody to sort of help do the new client uh finding,
Yeah.
sort of like an agent kind of thing.
Yeah.
And for both of those, you know getting an agent, as we all know, is a chore,
Yeah.
uh, and hard to do. So I kind of I don't think agent is really the best way to think about it, as
No.
much as me, more along the lines of what we're talking about is like this personal assistant who their part of their job is bringing in new business.
Yep.
You know,
Almost like a funnel, but that you don't have to be the contact person at every step of that funnel. They are, what's the word? Assessing, approaches and opportunities, and like
Hmm.
bringing to you the ones that are the most viable, so that you're not spending time with people who are like, oh, actually, I had no idea it cost that much to get a book ghostwritten or whatever
Yeah.
other stuff.
Yeah. There's a point where I have to have those conversations. So it's that, and maybe sort of feeling out stuff that comes in,
Hmm.
like, but then again, there's so much of that like just feels like it has to be personally handled,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, because it's when you in our type of service industry, who you work with matters a lot. It's very
Mhm.
important. And so if you don't get to meet the person that you're going to be working with until 5 steps into the process, you're just going to, well, I don't know. I've never really looked into how that works with people like, say, Alan Dibb, who's got a whole team. He's a marketing guy. And, I don't think you can immediately talk to him. You probably got to talk to some people that work for him first. He's got a
Yeah.
lot of credibility because of his YouTube channel and other things. But anyway, we're getting off topic. So
Mhm.
those are good general areas. I would say if you're looking at somebody helping you with advertising and potentially sort of bringing in new clients, you might also look at, on a much simpler level, getting somebody to organize your book launch
Yeah. Yeah.
so that all
Organize
you
book
have to do is
launch
show up.
so that all I have to do is show up. Um, yeah. Yeah.
Just throwing
And
it out there.
and it and that, it immediately, like, the hairs on the back of my neck go up because I had this image of like whoever I hired botching it. And I'm sitting there looking at a room or a Zoom window that is, either completely empty or some sort of cock up of
Yeah.
immense. But I think, and that's part of this is getting to a comfort zone of letting go.
Hmm.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
so it's, and it relates to what you were just talking about and thinking about a potential client reaching out to me and getting an assistance response
Yeah.
as opposed to a response from me saying, "Hey, I'm really excited that you reached out to me."
Yeah.
And it feels more workable for them to hear it from me as opposed to somebody else. But
Yeah.
this sounds like, and I think advertising, I would broaden it to marketing.
Yeah.
Um, so it's not just, coming up with ads, but somebody who I could be like, okay, what's the plan?
Hmm.
Right? And then, okay, now you're going to execute on the plan.
Yeah.
And that sounds expensive too.
It does, doesn't it? It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like a few hundred a month minimum to get, certain hours of somebody's time to pay attention to your
Mhm.
stuff. However, maybe maybe there's options. So maybe you just need a VA to investigate options for marketing.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
pay them whatever the rate is hourly, and then they present you with a bunch of research.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's it. But and also things that I've identified that I want to do. Um, but it takes time to, for example, uh, you know, if I wanted to do, say, an online ad, it takes time to go to Canva to develop the images,
Hmm.
so hiring somebody else to kind of do that
Yeah.
sounds, but
Yeah.
again, it feels like it can very quickly get very expensive.
It, we think. We don't know. I think the bigger issue is that even getting a quote sounds like it might put you out of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Well, I've worked with book marketers
Yeah,
before.
okay, so you do know.
Usually
Yeah.
the bottom, you start at 20 grand
Oh
generally.
shit, man.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It
Ah.
it's yeah.
Woo! No
Yeah.
wonder writers DIY that stuff all the time. Like I just
Oh
did
yeah.
my own book launch because I was like, well, nobody else gives a shit. I'm going to do it. But beyond that, there's the I had not looked into. I didn't realize it was 20K to have
Oh yeah.
somebody look after your stuff.
Yeah, it
Okay.
gets, and again, it's another, area where I don't want to begrudge them their money because they're professionals who
Hmm.
bring their skill sets and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, and part of this, again, we want to kind of hit on this unsustainable life
Yeah.
piece, and
Yeah.
and I think maybe we should talk about that now to bring this as part of this context finding and building,
Yeah.
which is, we were talking as we were developing the idea that, boy, one little, hiccup or bump in the road, because our time and our, being busy is so tight,
Hmm.
and we can go careening off, the edge,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
so to speak.
And that is very close to my experience recently. Family crisis. I got sick, and
Mhm.
I had almost very close to an unsustainable deadline commitment month already. So
Mhm.
those three things combined, I was riding the edge just with the deadlines. And I had a come to Jesus moment like you would not believe every day this week, going, this is unsustainable. And this happens to me at least 2 or 3 times a year where I realize this is unsustainable. Not with the degree, it's like if you don't get what you're supposed to be understanding, whoever's in charge, the universe, has no trouble throwing enough shit at you till
Oh
you
yeah.
get it. And
Yeah.
so I'd like to think I get it. Let's find out. But there's a couple of things. I think one of them that you mentioned earlier is that in order to have even reach the level of success that we have, mid-level creatives,
Mhm.
we have to have already winnowed away anything that isn't serving us.
Yes. Yes.
So we have found that important contact at the beginning can make the difference between a contract and no contract, And
Mhm.
so I think we got to zoom out even more, actually.
Ah.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to a brilliant person, about this very thing. Remember when we talked about this before, and I said I was gonna need a coach, and I had somebody in
Yeah.
mind?
Yeah.
Well, I booked a call with them, just a discovery call. I'd already worked with them a couple of years ago, just on a very short thing, and they were fantastic. I found that they no longer have the same model, so
Mhm.
basically they've surpassed my purchasing power. I mean, we didn't talk about money, but just the model they have told me this is a major financial commitment to work with them regularly. But in that
Mhm.
1 hour call, which was only supposed to be half an hour. They gave me extra time. So Sarah, her name's Sarah Calabro,
Uh-huh.
peeled back um the real question that this question of the GU assistant experiment is part of, your higher, did you say hierarchy? Category? I can't remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Category hierarchies.
Yeah. The top level category is system.
Mm.
We have both, each of us separately, created a system that is unsustainable. And what Sarah said to me is that every system conserves something. What is your system conserving? You
Mm.
know? And I was like, well, maybe it's my self-image as somebody who can do any amount of work and not fall over. Um, maybe it's my underlying belief that, effort equals value.
There's that Scottish,
Yeah,
excuse me, that Scottish work ethic or the,
yeah. So there's all kinds of things that need to be asked, and I think the best thing I got out of this, well, I got so much out of the conversation, but one of the questions, or one of the points was, it it doesn't matter why it's come to this.
yeah.
Doesn't matter why this happens to me 2 or 3 times a year. It's just a simple question with no real judgment attached. Is it working or is
Mhm.
it not working?
Wow. So where are you falling on that?
Are you kidding me? It's not working.
Yeah.
It's not
Well,
working.
I don't know. I mean, it's working. I would say it's working in some ways.
It's working on the level of the
It's
system
not
is
working in some.
conserving.
very
Yeah.
important other ways, right?
Yeah, it's unsustainable. So in that way, it's not working. I can do any amount of work in a month or 6 weeks, and then I need to crash and burn. And if I
Mhm.
don't get the opportunity to do that, I get very weird. And it's not the kind of weirdness anybody would notice. It's the dark night of my soul, and it's very hard to crawl out of that. I'm just a
Yeah.
naturally upbeat person, so I crawl out of it, but I can't keep putting myself through this cycle, and it's been going on my
Yeah.
entire life, basically. So it's not working.
Okay, so I have a question,
Hmm.
right? So a couple of questions, right? So for you, unsustainable is more about sustaining your emotional well-being, right? You get
Yeah,
pushed into um, this, way of being where, it's like you're wearing a hat all the time,
yeah,
right? All
yeah,
you're focusing on is work,
yeah,
and anything that gets in the way of that gets tossed to the side because the deadlines, the maintaining the quality of the work, all of the effort has to go to work,
yeah.
right? And
And
that's unsustainable because it's exhausting physically and emotionally.
yes, I would like to add something to that. Because I don't control the universe, at those times when I'm wearing the hat, something comes in that I can't ignore, like
Yeah.
something I can't ignore. Um, the impact on my mental health, my physical health is huge, and it's not a joke, I'm not just like, oh, I'm tired, I just need to regroup, I'm like,
Mhm.
I want to put a match to this whole building and walk away because I can't handle this. It's too
Yeah.
much. And I can handle a lot, I'm a
Yeah.
very tough person. So, yeah, so it's that hat is really like a lead helmet, and the
Yeah.
parts when something comes in that's spinning me off course, from the need to focus on just the work, it's the impact on me is really, really big.
Yeah. Okay, and then second question, and there's a
Mhm.
third in here too. Second question is how much of this is related to financial in that you have to maintain this churn just to keep your finances, to keep your head above water.
A year ago I would have said 80%, 90%. Now I'm gonna say 60%.
Mhm.
It's no longer a problem this year. I've regrouped financially. It's that I cannot, for the life of me, miss a deadline.
Yeah,
By a day or two, yeah, by a month or by blowing off the project, never.
right. Well, that's, I think, a month or, blowing off the project is the extreme.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
about a week?
A week is tough, but I can do it with regular clients who understand that I meet, 99.9% of the deadlines we've had together. Yeah, I could do that. I could do a week.
Yeah.
However, it's not so much about the deadlines. I don't know why I went there immediately.
Well, we work in a very deadline-oriented
Yeah,
business where you don't get paid if you don't,
yeah. It
if
is
you're
the
not
money.
progress.
The money
So,
is important, but it's no longer as important as it was in yeah, a couple of years ago, just because I have gotten on, since I got divorced, I have gotten on top of my financial situation in a much
mm,
more sort of proactive way. So,
mhm.
yeah.
Okay. And then third question, and this is about, I think, perception
Yeah.
and gets to that Scottish Protestant work ethic thing,
Yeah.
which is if something feels, well, I'll phrase it a different way. If your work life or just life doesn't feel hectic and on this edge all the time, do you feel like do you then have a sensation that I'm not doing enough?
Yeah.
I'm copping
Yeah.
out, I'm being lazy, I need to push harder, you know, where the flip side of that is if something feels easy, then it feels like it's not really work. And if it doesn't feel like it's really work, then it's not worth doing.
Yeah. Or it doesn't have enough value. So there's worth doing, I think, absolutely. I mean, GU is a lot of fun. it's worth doing. Does it have value? Like what value does it have? It has a lot of value to me. There's other things I can think of that are probably a better example. So yeah, the good thing about having a Scottish Catholic background as versus Protestant is that we can just go tie one on when we're not working as a 65-hour week because we're like, woohoo,
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's the thing that I'm getting at is I will often feel if something feels easy, then I'm like, okay, I'm not doing it right.
Yeah, same here. Yeah,
And
we both have that
that's
background.
not always true.
No. In fact, I would say ease, starting to realize ease is kind of a sign that you might be doing it right. I know that with writing for me, if I'm sweating it, I know that I need to get a little bit more relaxed because sweat never gets you anywhere with writing, in my opinion. I mean, obviously showing up at the page does, but actually it feeling hard is not always a sign that progress is being made and that it's working. It feeling really hard can be a sign that things need to change around it. So yeah, so good questions. Where are we at?
Yeah, I don't know. So when we came into this segment about 24 minutes ago, I was ready to say that this experiment is done, tied, dusted, and over.
Ooh.
And yeah, because I was like, if the big value outsourcing things that I can do is hire, a cook, a valet, and a maid, and another bathroom attendant. Um, That's not going to happen. But you've pushed me in ways that I felt some discomfort, and
Oh,
not,
good.
not like a God damn it, Pat discomfort, but more of a fuck Pat discomfort because you're right and you're making me feel uncomfortable.
Yay.
So, and so yeah, yeah. So I think this experiment, there's some real reason to continue.
Yeah. I think it goes way deeper than we were thinking when we said, oh, maybe we just need a virtual assistant or a remote assistant. I think it actually is forcing us to interrogate the structure of our lives, which is a very um, different prospect.
Interrogate the structure of our lives.
I don't mean in the thumb screws and bright lights way.
No, I am all for it. I
Cool.
am blown away by the phrasing as well. Because no, I agree. You get into this stuff and all of a sudden we're realizing we're getting into deeply held beliefs,
Yeah.
which is everything needs to feel hard or else it isn't work. And if it isn't work, then I'm, might as well be sitting in a corner jerking off thinking about sunshine. That's my work ethic, right? It's gotta feel hard.
Oh man, that's good. Yeah. And for me, I might as well be sitting in my kitchen having a martini with my sister, so
Yeah, probably better than my
that's self-reflection.
I was, that was metaphor.
They're both metaphors.
All right, so the experiment continues.
Oh my God, it's gonna have to.
All right.
Rocking a hard place.
All right, I'm back to the kimchi.
That's where we like to be. Yeah, me too.
Yep,
I'm gonna
needs to be stirred.
I'm gonna have a vodka kombucha and call you later.
Okay. From a can, probably, right?
From a can.
Yeah.
Shit.
Thanks for listening to Gifted Underachievers, the podcast for mid-level creatives with delusional ambitions. We'd love to hear how we're doing, so please leave a comment, join our chat page, or send us an email at giftedunderachievers@substack.com. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and anywhere else you'd like to download your podcasts. Also, please hit the share and or subscribe buttons. It really does help a lot. Thank you, and have an awesome day.